Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. GabNet needs you. Yes, GabNet needs you to call our live programs and be a part of the citizen panels. It's the most innovative talk format yet, because it's not just one caller, it's a group of callers interacting with the hosts at the same time. Here's how you do it. It's simple. First, download Skype at skype.com. To install it, answer 4 simple questions: first name, last name, email address, and your choice of ID. Then launch Skype, go to Add Contacts, type in GabNet Live, and ask to be made a contact. Then you're ready to be on the citizen panel. If you're too lazy, well, you can always call on the phone at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. For all the information and a call button for Skype, log on to gabnet.net. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a video on how to call us and how to use GabNet. It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be more fun and exciting. We're new. We're different. But we need you to call. So for crying out loud, call or we'll kill this dog. Don't worry, Fluffy. They won't let you die. I'm not kidding. Call or Fluffy gets it. Oopsie.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GabNet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
Connect to life.
We do have several listeners online tonight who are either dealing with parents who have Alzheimer's or who have dealt with that and are now past the final stage.
Connect to love.
Hey, Dad, that was so creepy that you told Melissa that you had sex in 8 years.
Creepy. I don't know what's
and
wrong
you should.
with
It was
my
like
life.
deer in the headlights. Boink. Like,
Oh my God! No wonder he didn't show up to the parade afterwards. He was embarrassed.
Connect to happiness.
bumping and bumping, Linda.
Dude, you
Holy
really
cow.
were. Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to do that.
Yes.
There we
To
go.
blow it out sometimes.
Yeah. Like a Brazilian blowout was a Cuban blowout going on over here. That's going to put it out there for you people.
Connect with Connections, a nightly feature of GabNet. Join hosts Melissa Fox, Linda Nunez, porn star Pete, abetted by Lizzie Say What, and Mr. Punchline as they engage in a lively 2-hour romp that is bound to keep you happy and, yes, connected. Each show tackles a lifestyle or relationship topic relevant to people interested in improving themselves, dealing with the ups and downs of life, and those interested in spicing up their relationships. The gang, along with special guest hosts, share stories and connect the topics with humor to current events in entertainment, politics, culture, and even sports. So get connected, Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern and Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. It's Connections, here on GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hello, everybody. It is time for the Ramble. This little insanity goes on until midnight tonight when Jack Bishop will be here. In the meantime, in between time, let's take a look at, let's talk to an old friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we go out to the West Coast. We always go out to the West Coast, whether it's Pearl or whether it's Bubs or whether it's Durst or whether it's Snyder. I'm the only one on the East Coast. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, you deserted us all.
Yeah, Larry Bubbles Brown.
Hello, Alex.
Yes. Wonderful, Larry. Lawrence, you're terrific.
Thank you. I'm dreading. I actually had a little throwback the past couple of weeks. I worked the Punchline with Bobby Sladen. It was their 40th anniversary at the Punchline.
Yeah.
And then the following week, Bob Rubin came in. So
and played where?
He is the Punchline, too, for one night.
Oh, really? What are they doing? Bringing back the oldies but goodies or something?
Yeah, I guess so.
They did one night with Bubs. What night of the week?
I did one night with Bob Rubin, and then I did a couple of nights with Bobby, 4 nights with Bobby the week before.
Well, Bobby was the weekend, right?
Yeah, Bobby had the whole week.
Yeah, but how about Rube?
Rube they only trusted with one night.
And what night was that?
That was the Wednesday. It was the 29th anniversary of the earthquake, so it was appropriate.
Okay. But so they couldn't give him a weekend, right?
No.
Oh, boy.
Maybe that'll change with his big Netflix special comes out.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah. I certainly wasn't contacted about that anniversary, so.
Mm-hmm.
That place.
Well, you should have been.
Well, I mean, come on, that place was built on my show.
Yeah, no lie, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, so I, who else was on the bill at the big?
They had, they didn't have a bunch of really old. They had Bobby hosted the show, and they had like 7 local comics, and some of them weren't that old, so I don't know why. It was just kind of. I think it was kind of thrown together at the last minute.
So why even do an anniversary if you're not going to
bring back the? They could have done a whole month, I think.
If you're not going to bring back the people that made the place,
yeah,
probably because they didn't want to afford them. They didn't want to have to pay for them.
That could be it. Live Nation owns it, so who knows?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a question of whether they wanted to pay for the comics that they would have to bring back in order to. Do a 40th anniversary. You'd have to bring back somebody like Paula Poundstone. You'd have to bring back quite a few people who, Bob Goldthwait, people who made them famous and helped make them famous. And I guess Dana Carvey, but they can't afford those people all at one time.
Right.
Or they don't want to afford it, or they don't make the kind of money they used to make out of that place. But that seems like they were doing an anniversary thing on the cheap.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And how's Rube doing? How's he feeling?
Rube looked great, and he had a really good set. We had fun. And
yeah, I was in contact with him here a while back, but we never caught up. In other words, I called him, he called me, back and forth, phone tag thing.
Well, nothing's ever easy with Rube.
Well, Rube is totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
And has a will to fail. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't go that extra inch, to be successful. And I keep trying to give him the pep talk, but he doesn't seem to go for the pep talk that much, so.
Yeah, he should have been famous by now. Don't you think?
He should have been. He should have been a household name. But then again, so should have Larry Bubbles Brown.
I'm not sure about that, but
yeah. Well, anyway.
And you were a household name, so
I was a household name. Although how soon they forget. I had something happen recently. A guy took over a station in San Francisco. I won't say which one because I don't want to embarrass him, okay, as program director. And my friend Walter Sabo knows him, and I know that he knows me because he was working the town when I was working the town. So I had him get a hold of the guy. And the guy wrote back a note saying, blah, blah, blah. When Alex was at Live 105, he savaged my radio station. And then he sent over a guy to do some stunt in our lobby. And since then, I've had nothing but a bad taste in my mouth.
Wow.
And so I wrote him a letter, and I said, listen, I'm sorry if, it was all in the spirit of competition. I don't know what I did. I don't remember it, but I assume that if you do, it's got to be real. And you were obviously bothered by it, and I just want to say I profusely apologize for any pain I may have brought you. And he wrote back and said, apology accepted. But here is the reason why I never worked in San Francisco really again, okay, is because that town was so petty that they couldn't understand competition. They couldn't understand the spirit of competition. Mm-hmm. When I was suddenly out of work, their attitude should have been, which one of us can scoop him up first? But instead, their attitude was, he was our competitor. Good. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah.
And rather, in any other market, Howard Stern was fired at WNBC here, and immediately Mel Karmazin picked him up for another station because he saw the value in that. And so a lot of people bought my on-air persona as being who I was. And anybody who's in the business shouldn't feel that. And I felt kind of sorry for this guy because here, 30 years later, something like that, he still holds a grudge for some stunt that was pulled. And it was something.
I wonder what it was.
Well, it was something Chuck Farnham did. This was a guy we had who went out and did stunts and things like that. And a lot of times we let him just think up what he was going to do, and he would go do it. So apparently he wound up in the lobby of the station, I don't know, knowing him naked or slathered in peanut butter or something like that. And this rested with this guy for how many years now? So,
30 years. God.
I could well have a show in San Francisco right now if it weren't for that. It's really just bizarre, that's so long ago. I mean, I felt bad because he shouldn't have felt bad about this. This was all, in the spirit of healthy competition. And in his note back to me, he kind of admitted that. He said, yeah, those were competitive times, so. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if you bought the act, I'm because I'm a delight to work with, so.
You are, and once again proving San Francisco is a small town.
Oh, well, I don't know if it is now. Now it's not anything like it once was, but then again, neither is radio, so it doesn't really matter, I mean, there really is very little radio out there, so. Anyway, the one shot I might have had getting back on the air in San Francisco. Blown.
That would have been great.
But what the hell? What can I do? Plus, once they take a look at me, look how old I am, they turn a blind eye to the whole thing. Oh, we need a younger guy in here. Blah, 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 blah. Even though this guy is no spring chicken himself, if he was around when I was around there. So, it's just, it doesn't get any easier. So I've got this little podcast. Whoopie-doo. Everybody's got a fucking podcast. Bubbles,
which you invented.
Yes, I did invent it, but nobody remembers that. I've actually looked it up, trying to figure out when. It wasn't that I let me put it this way. I didn't call it a podcast. What it was, remember, I was out of work once. It was the time between, I think, it was the time after I got fired by Live 105. So I decided to put up a website and do a daily kind of 15-minute, 20-minute program, which I would just, blab about stuff and so on and so forth. And maybe I'd sometimes have a guest in there or whatever. I don't know if I ever did it with you. I know we did the TV thing for Play TV, but anyway. Right. And this guy I knew, who was a techie, said, listen, I've written a program for you, and I even still have a copy of the program. It was called Auto Alex. And what it was, I would do the 15-minute show, 20-minute show, And then this program, if people put it on their computer, every day would look to see if there was a new episode. And if there was a new episode, it would then download it to their computer so that when they came home, there was Alex Bennett's latest episode.
Mm-hmm.
What does that sound like?
That's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast. That's iTunes. We literally invented it. And I went back to look and see if anybody else had done anything like that. And was there anybody doing daily programming? No, I don't remember that exactly, okay? Because when we wound up doing Play TV, which was the first daily 12-hour-a-day television network on the internet, that had never been done before. So my podcast had to be, if not, we invented the format of delivering the program to your computer. I don't know if it was, in fact, the first what you could call podcast. There may have been somebody else doing something too, but they didn't find a method of delivery like we did. So,
yeah, God, if you could have patented that, you'd be a zillionaire.
Well, I've often thought about getting a lawyer and seeing if there's anything we can do about it. Because we did come up with this guy, and I did come up with the form.
Are you still in touch with him?
That's another story. Yes, I am, but I'm not. I don't want to go into it here, but he doesn't have a problem with me. He has a problem with somebody I know. Therefore, he can't talk to me.
Oh, okay.
So it was a. He invented the podcast, actually. He's the guy who came up with this program. I came up with doing the show. He came up with the way of delivering it, and together we had this thing going, and it was terrific.
Yeah, that and the Play TV was, God, so far ahead of its time.
Yeah. Well, every day we did a full-blown TV show.
And if that guy that Play hadn't died, he'd...
Paul Montgomery.
Yeah,
he was
so young.
He was my best friend at the time, and he dropped dead. This was a guy, I've always waited in my lifetime to find somebody who so believed in me he was going to let me live out my dreams. And this is exactly what Paul did for me. He said, you want to start a Play like network or something? We started out doing audio and broadcasting it live every night. And then we took all those shows and using a piece of equipment which this company invented called the Trinity, which was a broad television studio in a box, big box, but in a box. We managed to do convert all the shows to TV. Even the guy in Canada that we had was converted to TV. And they went up and installed one up in there, in his neck of the woods.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So we had 12 hours a day worth of programming. About 3 shows were coming out of Sacramento. Mine was coming out of San Francisco. There was a guy coming out of the East Bay and a guy coming out of Canada. And we did live television. And that lasted, and this was under my guidance, that I started it, and Paul said, go ahead and do it. Here's the equipment. What do you need to promote it? Blah, blah, blah. He paid me a very nice salary to run this thing. They paid everybody who did shows there a very nice salary. They were very, very giving, okay? And so here was a guy who was willing to pay for my dreams to come true. And all of a sudden, one day we get a call. Paul had a heart attack last night and died. And I'm going, what? I mean, the guy was only 39.
Jesus.
And I went, gee, that's amazing.
Well, had he lived, you'd have been running a huge network now.
It could have been either that, or shortly after that came the downfall of the internet. Remember, all those internet companies started going belly up, and so did Play.
They all crashed around 2000, yeah.
So did Play Incorporated. So who knows? We may have been caught in the middle of all of that and gone out of business.
Or if you'd have hung around, you'd have been huge, or somebody would have bought you out for a billion.
Yeah, something like that. But it was quite a deal, what we were doing, and well ahead of our time. And,
oh yeah.
I just I just feel bad that we never went out and copywrote this program, because to this day we could then go to somebody like Apple and say, guess how much money you owe us. Because you took you took the very idea and the essence of the program that we created, that was created for us, and turned it into iTunes. Because iTunes, you like a program, a particular podcast, you subscribe to it, and every day you go home to your computer, and there's the program downloaded or available to you.
You need to talk to a lawyer about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't that be so funny if you won a judgment against these companies?
Well, the only problem is Apple's got, beaucoup lawyers. But I have as I say, I still have a copy of Auto Alex, and I have I think the date on it when it was created. We know when it was created. It was created in, I believe it was 1998.
Okay.
I think 1998, maybe the end of 97. All right. So I defy anybody to come up with another program that did that or another form of delivery at that point. I mean, iTunes was still years away. And so I am very proud of that, but nobody makes it.
At that time, most people were just using their computers to get email.
Yes. If that.
Everything was so slow then.
Yeah, I mean, if that. That was our biggest problem with the TV network. Is the only people who could pick us up were the people we sent it out in two bandwidths. One very low, so the picture was fuzzy and not particularly great. It was like watching early TV, before they built the big sets. They had the little 3-inch screens, and people would, oh, isn't that amazing? But then we also had a high speed feed, and that one, if you had to have like ISDN in your home or something that was a faster pipe than just the dial-up. That was our biggest problem, was the delivery system. Also, in those days, if you were at home and you used that bandwidth, it was very expensive, and it was a very expensive process to put out. We had to have a very fast pipe going out of our studio so that we could serve both these different bandwidths. So it was. Today it's simple. I go on, I go to YouTube, I turn the show on, and we got ourselves a live TV show. And what is it costing me? $0.
That's great.
So I have to pay for the bandwidth. I have to pay for the pipe. I have to pay for the fiber here. But that fiber is only costing me maybe $60 a month. So, it's really, I know I'm talking about stuff you don't know about, but, Do you know what band?
No, it's interesting. This is the dawn of the changeover from TV to the Internet.
But nobody has ever said, hey, Alex Bennett came up with the first delivery system that was basically a podcast. Just like, the porno people, like AVN, has never said, oh, let's give Alex Bennett an award. Now, what would you say they would give me an award for in porn?
Midnight Blue?
Well, not really. Midnight Blue, certainly I should be patted on the back for that. It was the pep, someone once described it the pet cock of permissiveness. But no, I came up with the first hardcore video presentation on videotape. In other words, I produced the entire thing on videotape, as opposed to filming it, which everything else was at that time. And we did a thing called Midnight Blue Uncensored, and to my knowledge, it was the first hardcore thing ever done on video. Now all of it is video. Because all of a sudden people saw how cheaply I produced that, and they suddenly went, we better do the same thing. And all of a sudden they were starting to produce stuff on video as opposed to film. So,
Really? Huh?
yeah. So, folks, AVN, where's your honor for me, having been the first to do that? I had two major firsts. That first I feel guilty about. I feel guilty about it not because we were doing porn. I only did one porn tape. But not because we were doing porn, but because it opened up the petcock of permissiveness to do things cheaply in porn. Where before they made a movie, it cost them at least $10,000, $12,000 to do it on film. Where with videotape, it cost you $1.50.
Exactly.
And so everything got cheap, and everybody was doing it. And, so that's what I feel guilty about, that I ruined the porn industry by doing that.
You cost them jobs.
Yeah, right. No, because what happened was we wanted to do this thing called Midnight Blue Uncensored, and we went to a distributor who distributed video. And he said, well, how much is it going to cost us, $10,000 or something like that? And I said, no, it's going to cost you $300 so we can pay the models. And he went, what? I said, yeah, we'll deliver a complete hour-and-a-half video presentation for $300. So he said, okay, here's the $300. And we went out and we made the damn thing. And we came back to him, and he was amazed. He was just absolutely gobsmacked and said, fine. Then all of a sudden, he started having other people do stuff on video. And before you know it, the whole industry is nothing but video. If you look at porn today, I don't know if anybody's doing porn film.
Retro.
So that's the nobody makes a porn film for $10,000. They make loops and things like that. Anyway, so that's the other thing I should. Well, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I'm close to.
Got to get your credits for this.
I'm close to the end of my life, and nobody gives a shit about what I contributed to the industry. So, As for radio, I guess I invented a few things there, one thing there, and that was the kind of show we did in the morning in San Francisco with a live studio audience and comedians. Up until that point, morning shows just had morning show hosts who thought they were funny.
Yeah, I don't know anyone ever did a show with a live audience.
Or had nothing but comics on.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, across the country, these things started to happen. All these programs with comics on. Nobody did a live studio audience. Nobody saw the value in that. I saw the value in it because if Larry Bubbles Brown comes in one morning and he's expected to be funny and there's no audience, he doesn't know how to work exactly.
Yeah, you don't know if it's funny or how it's playing out there, but when you get the audience laughing,
Yeah. So...
and it just puts so much energy into the show, too, having the people there. And it's great.
And some days we'd have 4 people, and sometimes we'd have hundreds waiting outside the door to come in.
Well, when we had, when you got Jackie Chan and Tori Amos on the same show.
On the same show, I think there were maybe 1,000 people waiting outside the radio station to come
in.
People
were offering us money to get in. And,
Oh, boy. Isn't that wonderful?
I said I have no tickets to scalp. I can't help you.
I don't have any tickets. Scalpers could have made a fortune off of that.
Yeah.
Plus, didn't cost anything to get in. But
that was crazy. Yeah, the whole building was filled with people.
And all we could hold was something like maybe 50 people, maybe 100 people, because there were a lot of people standing up and stuff. But, it was
a few seats, and then people could stand.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, they never turned out like that for anything else. Hey, you know what? I just looked at the clock. 25
Time flies.
25 minutes have flown by. Are you playing anywhere soon that people could see you?
No, I got the rest of the month off. I think I want the Throckmorton next week. But.
Yeah. But if you get a chance and you live in the Bay Area, Larry Bubbles Brown is a good bet. He's a
Catch him before he dies.
As they say about some women we used to know, he's a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown. Bye, Larry.
Bye, Alex.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Hello there. I'm sorry that for about a half hour there, I didn't have Larry's picture up. But we we'll do those things. I'm checking something here. Is that okay? No, that's not all right. I'm having a problem tonight. Oh boy. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second, folks. I'm going over. I have to go check something else out here. Hold on a second. Options. Remove from dock. I don't know what that is. It doesn't seem to work. Nothing seems to work here. I'm all frozen up on my other machine. Oh boy. Son of a bitch. Oh fuck. I give up on all of it. Let me see here. Wait a minute, hold on a second, folks. I got to do something here. I'm trying to fix a problem, but it doesn't work that well. Find there. Okay, we're fine now. Okay, we're fine now. Alrighty, hold on, folks. We're fine. Ah, boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just, it's always that I'm winding up fixing stuff. And I tried to fix something while we were doing that interview, while that was on, and I had to take care of it. Okay, so it's all taken care of now. So I'm hoping that we're all right. Thank you for indulging me while I was looking at something to try and fix it, but it's fixed now. And I should never start fooling around with stuff before I go on the air, because if I don't fix it, I go crazy. I go nuts. It's just weird. It's very strange. Anyway, let me open up the lines. Skype lines are open if you want to call me. Whatever. Let's see here. I just got a thing here. Tonight I saw a thing on TV, and it said there was a thing called RoboKiller, which is this app that you can get for your phone that will intercept all robocalls. All right, and in fact, if they are there, they'll get a message from you, and you won't even get the phone call. So we're going to see how good it works, right? So I try signing up for it, and it won't sign up, and it won't sign up, and it won't sign up, and then it signs up, and it finally says, "Great news, RoboKiller is back up. If you experience delays activating your phone number, the issue's been resolved. Please reopen the app." And you go, "Oh, wait a minute. If you're so fucked up, why should I even have anything to do with you? Look who's the first out of the what do we call it?
Starting gate.
Starting gate. Oh, you're dressed up for Halloween, are you?
All right, can you see? Because I don't know what's going on.
Is that the extent of your Halloween costume? Those pair of ears?
Do you see the T-shirt?
No, you got to stand up, I guess, or something.
I feel like Marjorie, because she has the T-shirt.
Well, I don't see the T-shirt yet. Oh, ghouls just want to have fun.
Okay, you can see.
Yeah.
I had a pumpkin one too. I didn't know what to do.
You had a pumpkin one too?
Yeah, it was orange with jack-o'-lantern on it.
Wow.
And then I was mad because everybody had skulls, leggings and things, and
Yeah. I'm dressed up as a talk show host tonight, so
right.
It's the costume I go with every year. It seems to work.
I know. I'm ready for Halloween. I used to say, every day, all year round.
I have come up with a philosophy, and it's basically this in a nutshell: fuck the kids.
Right.
Now, the reason I say that is every year Marjorie goes out and buys like 5 bags of candy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many kids came to our door tonight?
3.
Goose egg. 0. Do you know how many came to our door last year?
How many?
Goose egg. Why she goes out and buys,
Listen, Alex,
5 bags of candy is beyond me.
Before Phil gets here and filibusters.
Well, here is Phil.
Oh God.
Here's Phil. That's his new name, Phil a Buster.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, did you see that there's a mandarin duck in the Central Park in the pond? Do you ever see ducks, or you don't go to that anymore?
I don't go over there. Right.
Oh, but there's like a Chinese mandarin duck, and they don't know how it got there. It was on all the news tonight.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Escaped from a restaurant.
All I know is they found 2 dead bodies in the River of Sisters, and they were duct taped together.
They're Saudi girls, right?
Saudi girls. They were gorgeous, by the way. And it looks like they committed suicide.
Oh my God, this is horrible. I'm telling you anymore. I was so surprised, and I I'm so glad that Halloween didn't get ruined forever.
Yeah.
And Alex, last night I had heard that there was a woman named Rose.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Holocaust survivor, and this asshole killed her. And you know what you said last night? Like, I didn't realize it was the biggest anti-Semitic, but the biggest anti-Semitic in history, except for the Holocaust, when he said that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is going to be like a monument now, like a shrine or something. That's important.
In this country, I mean, this kind of thing has been going on in Israel for many, many years.
Oh, it has?
True, but it wasn't helped in any way, shape, or form when some jackass moved the embassy.
Yeah.
Right.
And people are
I'm so afraid.
You know what?
Yeah, and secondly, let me add that when you talk about that, you're talking about a war that's going on between 2 warring sides. You're not talking about some idiot who goes into a church with a gun, into a synagogue with a gun.
This kind of anti-Semitism has been
it has
surfacing
how can
for
you
many
be
years
how can
Europe.
How can a Palestinian be anti-Semitic? Will you tell me, Phil?
Well, that's a tough one. They just hate. But
I see. Okay, but they can't be anti-Semitic because they, in fact, are Semitic. Yeah.
In Europe.
Here we go. We're off to the races. We can't have some pleasant conversation on Halloween. Phil just has to do it right out of the chute.
Yeah. Talking about out of the chute, am I having a problem with YouTube, or is there no streaming tonight?
There's no streaming tonight,
it's just
Phil.
there.
Of course there is. I can see it on 2 different monitors.
Really?
I saw it.
Yes.
I saw Bubble. Well, that's not. Yeah, I heard Bubbles.
Yeah. If you look back at me, Phil, you can actually see that there's...
now I have it now.
Oh, look, you got nice bumper sticker.
Make America smart again, impeach Trump. There's Brian.
Yeah, this is the screensaver Rob talked about, so tomorrow I might review it because I just got it today.
Yeah, I don't want to take a chance on it because I'm afraid if you fuck up, you can't get it off.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Black ice liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you smoke it?
No.
No.
By the way, remind me. Where you keep going on and off.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody keeps bouncing around. What happened to Vernon now?
That's
the Morse code guy.
Yeah, that's
Vernon, right?
Morse code guy.
Because because Vernon did send me something the other day that I was going to read last night, and I'm glad he called tonight because we can talk about it. But he seems to be having some kind of problem staying.
I'll fix it in a minute.
He's coming back.
Huh?
Yeah, I think he's coming back.
Oh, why? You think he went somewhere?
Yeah.
Vernon, you haven't
just away from his desk.
You having problems, Vernon?
Love your ears.
Yeah, I'm on vacation.
Oh, where are you, Vernon?
I'm near Mount Jackson, Virginia, so not too far from where Rob lives.
And are you sending us video?
Yeah, but I think the bandwidth is pretty poor in this condo.
No, I see. Oh, that could be the problem. Yeah. But
Whenever somebody says they're on vacation, it makes me think of that Sonny Bono quote when he was the mayor of Palm Springs. He used to say, "They come on vacation, they leave on probation."
Yeah, we can see you now, Vernon.
Yeah.
So,
oh, good.
Yeah. So you're on vacation. So the first thing you do is call us. I see. Okay, that's relaxation.
Actually, I've been here a week.
Oh, really?
In Virginia for a week?
You sent me this thing, and if you don't believe I have it, there it is. Anthony.
What did he send you?
Just some stuff about. I just watched the Ramble from Friday, 10/26, and wanted to respond to Brian's suggestion regarding only counting counties in the presidential election. Of the 1,100 counties in this country, a supermajority are rural and Republican.
I believe there's 300,007.
Wait a minute, and Republican, and I doubt that the outcome would differ from the gerrymandered districts we now have. Plus, constitutional amendment would be required to change away from the electoral college system.
Yeah, there's 3,007 counties in 48 of the 50 states. There's 64 parishes in Louisiana, and there are 19 organized boroughs in Alaska, one unorganized borough in Alaska, which brings it to 3,890 something.
But here's what.
Nevertheless, what he's saying, it would be a constitutional amendment needed. I understand.
And he also says, Brian, that contrary to his assertion that the popular vote is bad, if not worse, this country was founded on the premise of one man, one vote, which implies a majority popular vote. The Electoral College was added at the time to get the Constitution ratified by the original states. What happened there is the reason the Electoral College was created is because the time it took to get somebody, a representative, to go to Washington to say how his state voted took the reason we don't have an electoral college till January is it took from November to January sometimes to get from the furthest state to Washington, D.C.
That part could be changed.
And so therefore, let me finish. Right. And so therefore, they created the electoral system as a method.
Before you opine, Phil, I want to talk to Alex when he's done speaking.
Can I finish with what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can. I just wanted to tell Phil that.
Yeah. So what they did is they created this electoral college as a method of doing that, so that when a guy came in from Maine, they say, okay, well, Maine has a certain amount of electoral votes and so on, and that was a way of counting it at a time. Today we don't have to do it. We don't need that lead time because we know the night of the election practically who won. I mean, we have just sending some guy to Washington as an elector, and by the way, he is not bound to vote the way that his state voted. He can vote.
As was ordained in the original construct of the Constitution.
Right.
1. 2, if we only had the popular vote to rely on that night of the election, number one, why is the counting of the votes on election night so disorganized, so disheveled, and so
but you've got to admit within a very short time, say a week, you've got a pretty accurate count.
Oh, I'm not debating taking until January to get electoral votes. I think that's absurd as well. Yeah. Number 3, what I just said.
But what you're voting for when you vote in your state, what you're voting for is an elector.
Yeah.
You're not voting for the president. You're voting
for an elector in a gerrymandered political district.
Yeah.
That's misrepresented by some corrupt congressman. Number 3. Yeah, I'm serious. I know what that guy's saying. Yeah. He's saying, but he's also whining about you have a majority Republican counties. Well, here's the thing, Democrats.
Well, wait a minute. The guy you're talking about, Brian, is right next to you. It's Vernon, who wrote that letter.
I'm sorry, whatever. But nevertheless,
you
got to get to work and convince those counties, baby. You got to get to work and do the legwork.
Now,
Continue on, Matt.
okay. Let Vernon say something, Brian. Yes, Vernon.
Continue on with what I wrote you.
Okay. Hold on a second. Actually, it printed out very badly. I have to get a new printer. The
Just
constitutional
ask the FBI, they'll give you
amendment
one.
in its current political environment is impossible. It would have to pass the 2/3 of both of the House and Senate, so you would have to change all that. I subscribe to the MPVIC concept, which is a national popular vote interstate compact. The Constitution right now allows every state to decide how they will select their electoral college. That's what I said, participants. No constitutional amendment is required for every state to pass this law within their jurisdiction. Okay.
And I think they have how
winner of the
many
small
already
popular
passed?
vote would be
37.
the 50 states. District of Columbia shall receive all electoral college. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
I thought it was 30%.
Huh?
Of
I
that,
thought it was-
Renee, to answer Renee's question, I thought it was like in the 30%.
There's already 30%.
And I'm throwing
that are
counties
gonna
out
go.
there as just a hypothetical. I'm not saying that look, it has to be the counties. No, I'm not. I'm just saying the way the electoral college. Number one, we need an electoral college.
No.
We need.
No,
an
we don't. We
electoral
don't need it.
No.
We do
But
not
we
need
need
it.
it
No,
reformed.
we don't
We don't
need
need
it.
it.
No,
No, we don't need it.
We don't need it at all. What we
Period.
need is.
I am leery about that.
I want one man, one vote. One woman,
Very
one
good.
vote. You know,
That-
one
see, that was-
transgender, one vote. You know,
Then Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Dallas gets precedence. over every
Vernon's
other
got
place.
his hand up. If you notice, Vernon. Yes. Vernon. Vernon's having some trouble.
I
Okay.
think he's.
Internet
With his-
problems.
What I continued on with. You're not hearing me?
You kind
we
of
can hear you
you're
now.
breaking up, but just keep
Frozen.
going. Keep going.
Okay.
You know what I would suggest?
Okay.
Turn off your turn
Turn off your camera.
turn off your camera, and you'll probably get better sound.
Better bandwidth.
Yeah.
Or call, maybe.
Yeah. Just turn off your
Nintendo's.
camera.
Yeah.
There we go. Now talk.
Okay.
You see, that's much better. Are you there?
Now we lost him.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah,
Can
we
you hear me
do.
better?
A little bit. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll let you see my little doggy.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try the phone.
What?
Evil
Yeah.
Betty.
Why don't you call us just using the phone? Yeah, this
Is it
is.
still breaking up?
Yeah, you're breaking
yeah.
up. Why don't you
Yeah,
just use a phone and call us on the number that we have?
347-352-0079.
By
That's
the way,
we-
Vernon,
347-352-0079.
By the way, Vernon, I didn't mean to take that kind of tone. I thought it was just somebody from the outside, just sniping at me.
Ah, well, be
I had
careful
enough
what
of that
you
on Facebook.
be careful how you
No
snipe.
offense taken.
Right.
No offense taken.
Yeah. But anyway, Phil, you had something you wanted to say. You had your hand up.
Well,
I did. I had a question.
Yeah, Renee had her hand
go
up.
ahead. Go
Well-
ahead, Renee.
Yeah.
So we are guaranteed one vote, one person, correct?
No. It's a representative government.
Or you're. So we had to have they placed in the electoral college, and we don't really get one vote, one person. We just have to deal with the electoral college. So there's no way to get rid of the electoral college and still keep our votes.
Well, the majority who vote in that state get the delegates that go and place those delegates at the convention.
What amendment is the electoral college?
It's not an amendment, is it?
No,
No, I think it is. I think it is specified for in the Constitution. If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Can anybody see I have my hand up?
Yeah.
Because I can't
No.
see myself.
It's in
You
one
know,
of the sections.
Why don't they teach this in civics? Like I remember learning about it, but they
Yeah, it
didn't
was a long
really
time
break
ago.
it down. So, like, that's what most people don't even know any of this.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
maybe that's why
been
they
a
don't
long
protest.
No, they
time.
don't.
know.
Yeah,
You know,
Vernon's
like-
back.
I want one man, one vote. Because
Yep.
after Al Gore, I'm sick of it. Like
Yep.
it happened again with Hillary. Is it going to happen a third time, a fourth
Yep.
time?
I want
Did it
one
happen in
man.
the past? I think that it's been discussed here before that it happened in the past once.
By the way,
I want one man, 2 votes.
Renee, move your camera a little bit so we can see your whole face. We don't.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm messing around a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
Better?
Better.
Yeah,
be nice to get your chin in, but
That's the Mussolini look.
Yeah. By the way, tomorrow night is the first night that Skype is not. Wait a minute. That Skype's going to be.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, that they're discontinuing.
It's the 1st of November. Yeah.
Skype 7, which we use and we're going to continue to use because supposedly that it will still keep operating. They just won't be servicing it.
As you eloquently put it, Alex, 8-point fuck. I was laughing
8
so
point
hard.
fuck, yeah.
I like that too, Alex.
I got screwed out of the old Skype. When I went to Mojave, I lost it.
You can get it. You can get it back.
Electoral College.
You can get it back. Just go online, say Skype 7.0,
Article 2,
and it'll take you to any number of sites that will allow you to download 7.0.
And in the 12th Amendment.
But what makes you think they're not going to just turn it off?
Because from what they say, they're not going to. The story is that what they're saying is we will no longer support it after
you're not losing much.
Okay, but I say they dead end the product by December 1st.
No, I think it may dead end the product sometime next year.
Okay.
I just wish somebody would come up with an answer to the.
Article 2.
Hold on a second. Let me get these people on here. Here's Patrick and Tony.
Replaced the process of Article.
Hi, Patrick.
Section 1, Clause 3.
Back to the Electoral College.
Yeah.
I believe to make a constitutional amendment, don't you have to have 2/3 of the state ratify?
Yeah, 3/4. It's
3/4. Okay, 3/4. So therefore, they'd have to get 3/4 of the states, and many of those states are small states that wouldn't have the representation if they did ratify it. So I doubt that it would pass.
Wait a minute, I know how you can do it, Phil. I know exactly how you can do it.
Secede from the nation. Take California and New York and make them one country.
Can I say?
Not maybe. I mean,
yeah. Here's my suggestion. Since Donald Trump feels he can do away with constitutional amendments with the wave of a pen by doing what do they call executive order. He seems to think he can bypass the Constitution and constitutional amendments by doing that. So why don't we have him do it?
You know why he can do that? Because he's the president and you're not.
Yes, and because
he doesn't believe in facts.
Because he doesn't know what his job entails and what it doesn't.
I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, right. He wants to pass something that's in the Constitution that he can't change.
Yeah, but if he talks about it now, just before the election, it's going to bring out a lot of voters.
Sure. Well, you know what it shows? It shows his stupidity.
It may show his stupidity, but it shows that he can get elected and he can get his people elected.
How do you feel about being lumped in with a bunch of morons? How do you like that?
I don't think that they're morons.
The people who think Trump is good are morons. Pure and simple.
Some red meat. This time.
Red meat.
They're morons and mouth breeders.
Yeah.
It's mouth breathers, or she's a breeder.
Oh, I said mouth. Did I say mouth breeder?
Yeah, it's okay.
Anyway, he's a mouth breeder. Hey, I'm from New York. He's a mouth breeder.
I think Brian's the only one that is a mouth breeder.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Wait a minute. Okay. Yes, Renee, and then I want to ask Patrick to say something.
Okay, so Vern, what is the name of the amendment that some of the states have already passed, and they all agree that they can override their electoral college vote or something
ERA?
like that? What is it?
Was it the ERA?
It's not an amendment. What it is each state has the right to pass a law within their own jurisdiction as to how they will send representatives to the Electoral College. Now, the NPVIC means that if you pass that in your state, you're going to elect people to the Electoral College based on the popular vote of all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Whoever wins that, that's who you're going to send.
Oh, I see what you're saying. In other words, it's determined by other states. It's are you there, Verna? It's other states, right? In other words, it looks at the total vote and then says they will then send these many people. See, the thing is about the Electoral College is we don't send a proportion. It's winner take all. In other words, if a state goes for Trump, I mean, it could have gone for Trump by 10 votes. All the electoral votes go to Trump, rather than saying, well, we're going to apportion our electoral votes out in the proportion in which the vote came out.
This sounds like sour grapes. If your guy won and got
no,
the
no, Phil, I've been saying this. I've been saying this. I've been saying this for 40. I've been saying this for. I've been saying this for 40 goddamn years, Phil. Yeah, and whether it was a Democrat or whether it was a Republican, the whole thing never made sense to me. It's antiquated. You know,
we either have one vote, one person, or we don't. And right now, we do not.
You know what they should do then, the Electoral College? I thought about it. Instead of making New York and LA, then they want to keep it in play. They should have all this. Just take each state should have the same amount of electoral points.
Why?
Well, I mean, if you want to make it balanced.
No. Why do you want to balance it? Well, you want to take
want it balanced.
No,
he wants it unfair.
No, I don't want it unfair. What I'm saying is, why should a state that's got a population of 500,000?
Why give LA and New York such a
Will you
high-
listen to me, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. Why would you want a state like Nevada, which has maybe 750,000 people, 1 million people, to have just as many votes as a state like California that's got millions upon millions upon millions of people? How's that representative?
I know. I'm just trying to make it a little balanced.
No, that isn't balanced.
The whole thing, then.
How you make the thing balanced is you count up the votes and you say this guy won. What?
He wants Hitler.
This is the problem.
Then throw away the whole thing then. Just make the vote.
I don't want California and New York having more representation than Pennsylvania or West Virginia.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I can see why people may get upset about that.
I don't want it, Alex. I'm not gonna stand for it.
Just one vote, one person, and then we don't have to have.
What is wrong with one vote, one person?
Yes, we do.
I can live with that.
No, we don't. If it was just one vote, one person, then none of this shit, this whole conversation would never happen.
She's right, Renee. I can see what Renee's saying. Throw away the whole thing. You vote, and that's who you want, and whoever has the most wins.
Now, having election day extend to election month, having the elections monitored by an independent, nonpartisan, possibly by the United Nations or something of that sort.
Or the Iraqis.
Yes.
They do it good.
But
by the way, here's
doing away with the Electoral College entirely.
Here's Ray Renati.
Hey, how's it going?
His head's on fire.
He's out taking a walk. We can tell.
Trick or treating.
He's trick or treating.
What did you go as?
Yeah, as a celebrity wannabe.
You and Kanye West, buddy.
I am.
Besides, there is such a thing as tyranny of the majority.
Well, let's not. You know, I mean,
what led to the election of the Nazi Party.
Yeah, well, okay. So you don't want a majority vote to win.
Yeah,
no.
you do. But
then your vote ain't worth shit.
It's worth some shit.
No, it's worth it. It's like. It kind of reminds me. Remember when in the big mortgage crisis, the banks took all the loans and bundled them and then sold them off. It's kind of like that. You know,
we didn't hold our elected officials accountable.
They bundle our votes. They mash them down. They mash them down and compress them into like 78 votes or something like that in New York, and off they go to Washington. And my one vote doesn't fucking count.
Okay, you got 78 electoral college
whatever,
votes in New York, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
How many do they have in Vermont?
Probably like 3.
Well, you have 2 for you have at least 3, because you know how it's determined, don't you, Phil?
Senators, right?
Yeah, based on population.
No.
Congressional
What do you mean?
You
No.
don't even know how an electoral appropriation is given out.
I know Maine, I understand, has 1 vote.
No,
right?
no. It's got to have at least 3. Do you know why?
No, tell me why.
2 senators and 1 congressman.
Yeah, that was.
It's for every senator and congressman that you have. That's how many electoral votes you have.
Thank you,
Okay.
Alex.
Now
get
these
that.
other states.
So Phil, shut the fuck up, because you don't even know what the electoral college is. So shut the fuck up.
No, wait a minute. They all have 2 senators, but they have a lot more Congress people based on population.
Yes.
So therefore, it's the fucking population.
But
Alex, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
That's how it sounds when they don't pay.
Well,
money.
it's not an exact representation of the population. It's rounded off to the nearest millionth.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, the idea is
How many people live in New York? How many people live in New York State, and how many electoral votes does it have? Wow, that's really apportioned well.
And what do you got? You got 30 million, 40 million, 30
something
million?
I don't know. There's something in New York City alone. I think we're up to somewhere around 20 million. No, we're up around 20 million.
20?
New York
like
City's up to 20.
12.
I think at one point.
It was 10.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Population.
I think the
of
last
New York.
Pretty sure it's
Postal
12
Service
million.
happy compromises. Wouldn't you agree with that, Phil?
Well, yeah. When I think 70,
Vernon was saying
78.
earlier?
Yeah, you go to some states, they got 3 electoral college votes. You got other states, you got 78. I don't even know what you got in California. It's probably some humongous.
Wow, the
amount.
population of New York is only 8,000. 8.623 million. Yeah. Wow, I thought
New
it
York
was more
City.
than New York. Well, yeah. I said New York City. I need New York.
It's more of a question.
New York, 31.
See, Los Angeles is still hovering at closer to 10. And that's
California,
exactly
55.
why. Yeah, that's why I hate going to LA.
55 million in California?
No. 55 electoral votes.
Oh, okay.
31 electoral votes in New York. 21
We don't
in
need
Pennsylvania.
it. We just don't need this layer anymore. This entire layer of voting needs to be ripped out and just left the original way.
I
We don't
disagree,
need
Renee.
this
We
layer.
need a layer, not that layer, but we
No.
do
Hey,
need a layer.
What's
to guard
funny
against the theory of the
is to
majority.
begin with, Patrick's just been sitting there. What also is funny is that because of the
We
added
don't know that he's not real.
because of the added association here with Ray Renati, who is out trick or treating, we hear this heated conversation and added to that conversation are kids having a good time. I love that. I love that.
Ray is the Pied Piper.
there's all
They're all
kinds of
following him and his dog.
Yeah. I'm going to the busiest trick-or-treating street in Palo Alto. I'm headed over.
We can't see anything because it's pitch black.
Yeah, it's dark.
There's no moon tonight.
Here's the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Damien was talking about the people some people in some expensive areas were writing nasty little letters saying, if you wouldn't bring your people over here, we would have a better Halloween, or don't bring your kids from the
Oh.
So, all of the areas that I lived in were nice areas, and I never once minded the fact that there were carloads of people coming into the area so that their families can have a safe environment for them to have Halloween as well. I never had a problem with that.
When I was married, we lived in Orinda, and my kids grew up in Orinda, and we used to take them trick-or-treating to the best places. If you ever heard of Long's Drugs, those people lived in Orinda, and they put on a Halloween that was second to none. What they gave away was fantastic, and we used to take them there. We knew where to take them, and the kids enjoy that.
Yeah, I just for those it's just a ridiculous thing to take this out against children. Granted, we're giving them candy, and that's probably not the best thing we should do, but they're not our kids, and that way the parents can deal with that. But to tell people that they're not welcome in the area for Halloween.
What happens when we eat the candy?
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Phil's the guy who doesn't answer the doorbell. I know they're there. I see the lights. I used to ring the doorbell.
Well, so what I
used to this door, I said on the way out.
So what I used to do is before I went to bed Halloween night, I would put the candy in a bag, go over to my husband's vehicle, put it in the car, and make him to take it to work the next day so that they have to eat it.
By the way, Phil is wearing his MAGA hat tonight because he's coming to our Halloween party as a raging asshole. So
no, just as a racist.
Yeah. Hello, Patrick. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Everybody be quiet a second. Patrick has been sitting there quietly. Anything to say, Patrick?
No. I was going to say.
That's my
Patrick. He has something
Patrick.
to say, he'll raise his hand.
That's
and
my
then,
Patrick.
Just absorbing the conversation.
I saw your red hat. I got a red hat, and now Microsoft just spent $35 billion for red hat. You know.
Well, this says U.S. Open on it, not Make America Great Again.
Close enough.
Which, by the way, is Ronald Reagan's. It's stolen.
Right. Not Bennett again.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Brian, you live in Pittsburgh?
That is
correct. Nice, Patrick. That's
good. That guy is
from
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. How is the mood? The mood there must be
bad.
Palatable.
Pretty divided. More so anti-Trump than pro-Trump, as far as when I say division is concerned, but nevertheless divided. I can tell you that in spite of this tragedy and Bill Peduto trying to paint himself as a American political leader, he is pretty much a piece of shit otherwise.
Who's this?
Bill Peduto, the mayor of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Some regional, some local, a lot of local reasons as to why he is a piece of shit.
Yeah, and
you've had some pretty good mayors. Like the mayor of Philadelphia years ago used to be the police chief, and I don't think he got out of the 6th grade. Well, I'm trying to remember who he was. He was really famous.
If he was a police chief, then he was an asshole. Anyway, but the mood in Pittsburgh.
How many black?
What, Ray? Oops.
He's breaking up.
He's breaking up. You're breaking up, Ray.
How many guys shoot? Like, okay.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
I give up.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
You say it.
Okay.
Say it quick. You're in a good spot there.
I said, how many blacks did he shoot?
How many blacks did he
Zero.
shoot?
You may be confusing that with the Kroger shooting, of which that guy shot 2 black people, a black female and a black guy.
Okay,
I was
so
being
everybody,
just super sarcastic.
Yeah.
Well,
so
okay.
I want everybody to know, if you're in a grocery store and shit like that is going down, go get the Hornet spray. At least you've got some sort of defense. Go get the Hornet spray and just save yourself.
I already know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is if by some miracle I'm unscathed, or at least I have like a few superficial flesh wounds, before the police get to that son of a bitch, I'm gouging his eyes out. I'm going to
barf on him.
Well, you must be responsible. You must be responsible for the death of Whitey Bulger then, because that's what they did to him.
Yeah. Frank Rizzo. Frank
Rizzo was an asshole.
You remember Frank Rizzo?
He was a major asshole.
I love that guy.
I know you
Cleaned
probably.
up Philadelphia.
They're in the game.
Dick.
Yeah, cleaned up Philadelphia.
Hey, Whitey Bulger lived to be 89, and he got hit by some mafia guy. You know, the guy was he was a murderer, and but
he ratted on the mob, you know, and they were just waiting. They didn't care if he was 89.
No, he wasn't. They found him like living in Newport Beach.
That's right. It was on 60 Minutes.
As a retiree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He probably voted on it.
Yeah.
So was
You
it
know how they found him?
He was using an assumed name. Somebody walked up to him and said, "Are you Whitey Bulger?" And he said, "Yes."
Nope. So it
Well,
turns out that the person he was living with actually did animal rescue, and they kind of tracked him through the animal rescue part of her.
Really?
Yep.
Is that why he killed her?
I
think they were on the lam at one point, and he killed her in a hotel room.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think he did. No.
He didn't kill her. They just found him living with the woman, and they just arrested him.
Yeah, she was really big on animal rescue, and
it was on 60 Minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't kill her.
No,
but she got him in trouble.
Yeah, but they killed him, and they carved his eyes out, and they think they cut off his tongue.
Oh my God, that was a mob hit.
Yeah, it was a mob hit.
Who the fuck didn't know that wasn't going to happen? Is all I want to know is how did the United States prison system get sucked in to getting that person there at that time so somebody could just erase them off the planet?
Well, because I think
because they didn't give a shit.
I think people were paid off in the government to do it because he had just changed to that new prison.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's why. Well, fuck it. It's our prison system. I shouldn't even ask a question.
Yeah, right. It is our prison system again.
Yeah.
The people who are in prison, I'm sorry. We can't help you.
He killed his partner's girlfriend.
Well, see, there's a big difference, Phil.
All right. Well,
do they make
everybody have a drink?
Movie?
What?
Because I heard something about movies about Whitey Bulger or something, right?
Yeah.
Or they made one. Was it the Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to be him, or am I wrong?
Not him.
They did make a show on Showtime.
They
lasted for 3 seasons that was based on the Bulger brothers called Brotherhood.
Oh, okay.
Back in 2006 until 2008.
Yeah, but then also the movie I think was the one with Jack Nicholson and.
No, that was based on a Chinese. Organized crime flick.
Well, no, I know it was based on that. I know it was based on that, but when they made the American version, they also made it a Ramona Clef to Whitey Bulger as well.
And who's that guy that jumped out of the airplane? What's his name?
Well, what does that have to do with any of this?
Did they ever find him?
No.
That's Robert. That was what's his name?
And we don't have anybody from the Pacific Northwest on, so they can't fill us in on anything.
Yeah, right. That's
because he jumped. Yeah.
Yeah.
D.B. Cooper.
D.B. Cooper.
There was a movie called In Pursuit of D.B. Cooper with Robert Duvall, and I think Robert Duvall was in it, but also Treat Williams.
Oh, Network is going to be on Broadway. Can you believe that?
Why?
Yeah. They made a play out of Network.
Why would you want to do that?
Because
that's the new thing. They're making plays out of movies.
Yeah, well, they're doing To Kill a Mockingbird, but Aaron Sorkin is writing the script, and it's Daniels, Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
It's not a musical, though, right?
No.
Aaron Sorkin's writing a play.
Oh, he's written plays before. He wrote as a play. He wrote all the what's that one where Nicholson is doing. You don't want the truth. A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men. Yeah, that was a Broadway show that he wrote.
Yeah, I want that.
That was a Broadway show. A Few Good Men was a Broadway show.
Yes, it was.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
No, it was huge.
Before the movie or after?
Yes, before the movie.
After.
Before,
right.
Before.
Yeah, play, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a play before it was a movie. Yeah.
It was adapted from the play.
Mm-hmm.
Movie.
I did not know that. Thank you.
Me either.
Yep.
So, I mean...
it's a really good play.
Sorkin's a very good writer, so I think he probably could do a pretty good job of what do you call it?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Imagine
there
that
are
as a
already
musical,
like 3 versions out there.
A musical would be really weird.
No, I don't think.
What is the issue with this To Kill a Mockingbird? I think that
they've still never read it, right?
They've taken the book out of some schools or something, or they said that the play was
What it hasn't been a play until now, Phil.
Yeah, well, they won't show it.
No, it's been a play. I've been in the play.
Oh, there is a play? Really?
Did they say
Mockingbird like 20 years ago?
Oh, okay.
Did they say it was anti-black or racist?
No, it's quite the opposite.
No, they didn't say that, Phil.
It's quite the opposite. But
I think he's thinking of Huckleberry
they
Finn.
ran. I'm going to Patrick next. She wrote a second book, or she wrote a prequel or something afterwards, in which he turns out to be a racist, but he isn't in To Kill a Mockingbird. Yes, Patrick.
In Milwaukee, one of the high schools, they had a big deal about it. They ended up canceling the play.
That's it.
After all of the kids did all the work, because the word nigger is in it, and the Black Panthers in Milwaukee, as well as some of the people on the school board in the district that it was in, thought that it was a racist play and didn't realize that it's an anti-racism play.
Yeah.
And because the word nigger was used, the Black Panthers went absolutely apoplectic, and it just shows the ignorance now of so many people.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right, and the thing is...
No, that isn't what you were saying,
Yeah,
Phil.
you
were
it
all...
was a play. They said it was racist. They tried to stop it, and that's what he talked about.
Racist.
It was in a high
That's
school.
why it's so ahead of its time. It was against racism. The whole
I
play
understand.
is against racism.
Ray, this is just what happened recently.
Wait a minute.
At a school.
Wait a minute. There's still Black Panthers?
Oh, okay.
Right. This happened in Milwaukee a few weeks ago. They canceled the play because the Black Panthers in Milwaukee, as well as the school board and some of the parents, are so fucking stupid that they've never read it, didn't understand that the book and the play were about racism and anti-racism, but because the word nigger was used, it was racist.
What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, and the thing is, the kids worked so hard on this, and they canceled it. Then they
oh my God.
It was just going to be a dress rehearsal for the parents, and then they canceled it anyway because the head of the Black Panthers in Milwaukee was going to do a protest at the school, and the superintendent of school did a little spineless trick.
Most of them are.
Those Black Panthers are real stand-up guys.
He was a real moron. I mean, that whole group.
I didn't know there were. I didn't know there were even. I didn't know there were even Black Panthers anymore. And if they're an anachronism.
Yeah, but if you look him up, his name is Big Rick of the original Black Panthers, and that's what they call themselves. And he's a moron, and he's a troublemaker here in the city. Anything that he can do to fuck shit up in this play.
Well, I knew about the Black Panthers, and I never heard of a Big Rick.
No, this idiot in Milwaukee. He's about 30 years old.
Oh, then yeah.
Because you don't live in Milwaukee any more than I do.
It's a spin-off of the Black Panthers.
No, he claims that he did. But the thing is, most of the kids that I went to...
Hey, do me a favor. Hold on a second. Ray, would you mute yourself, because what it's doing is it's affecting Patrick's sound.
Patrick.
Yeah. Go ahead, Patrick. Anyways, you were saying.
All of the black kids that I went to high school with, and I don't remember if we had to play there, but I know we read the damn book.
Mm-hmm.
They all understood what the hell it was. All of the white kids did too. And yes, when we read portions of it in class, when that word would come up, everybody would kind of go, but it was part of the book. It was part of,
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you display? To begin with, I didn't see the movie till about 2 years ago. And people
Oh,
go,
you saw it, yeah.
oh, you never saw it, To Kill a Mockingbird. So I sat down and I watched it, and it's okay. You know, I didn't see that it was as great as a lot of people felt it was.
I was too young when I saw it. I saw it when it first came out.
But it was how you could possibly do that without using the word is beyond me, because it is all about racism and about making this child understand what racism is about. Right. And what you're going to have two Southern people sitting around talking about that black person over there? You know, right. I mean, come on,
American person, yeah.
You know, so the guy who's with the Black Panthers is a total fucking moron. You know,
if he is with the Black Panthers, they're all morons.
No, you don't judge a whole group of people by the actions of one,
They're
Phil.
a bunch of lawless morons.
Because otherwise we will sit here. We will sit here and figure that all Trump people are just like. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Phil. You're right.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
they're
yes.
Murderers. They're bombers. Hey, if you lived in Oakland, you knew. Or San Francisco in the 70s.
I knew Black Panthers, okay, and they had a target on their back from guys like you, and all they did was they stood out there with guns and said, we're protecting the black community, and everybody got apoplectic because how dare black people have guns, you know?
Yeah, they were trying to intimidate people. And they
obviously they did a good job. They did obviously they did a good job of intimidating you. Yes, yes.
I was a cop.
Yes, Charlene.
Cops don't like black people.
Cops suck. Okay.
Don't.
Did Black
you know Bobby Seale?
What?
Bobby Seale was was a Black Panther, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You knew him?
Yeah. I've been in his presence, let's say. I've had words with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Tom Hayden, I think you were in his presence.
No, I was never in Tom Hayden's presence, and I wouldn't want to be because he was an asshole.
Mm-hmm. I met Tom Hayden. He was pretty fast on his feet, though.
He was fast on his feet, but he was an asshole. He was a total fucking asshole. Egotist.
Well, yeah. You know.
Hey, can I tell you a Black Panther story?
Sure, go ahead.
When I was in college, my girlfriend was going on bike rides with, what's his name? The one who got killed in Oakland. One of the head Black Panthers from the six.
Well, there was Bobby Seale, and there was
Huey Long.
Huey Newton.
Huey Newton.
Yeah, Huey Long was Louisiana.
Yeah, Huey Newton, the guy that moved to Cuba and invented those pants with the zipper.
No.
Huey Newton, and she was going on bike rides with him, and I almost shit my pants. Said because my feeling, because I was still from the '60s.
That was Eldridge Cleaver you're thinking of.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
I was thinking.
I just said you cannot go ride your bike with this guy. You know.
Yeah.
I went shit. I just went ape shit like Phil does right now about the. But I but then he got killed a few years later. And somebody hunted him down and shot him at Lake Merritt.
Like the dogs that they are.
Yeah, right. Because they didn't. Because the only thing is, I defy you to tell me of somebody that the Black Panthers killed, but I'll tell you how many Black Panthers were killed by cops.
The guy who was the head of the Oakland school system, and that was.
No. That was part of the Patty Hearst thing.
No.
That was part of the Patty Hearst thing. I'm telling you that right now.
It had nothing to do with Patty Hearst.
I know who you're talking about, and it was part of the Patty Hearst situation.
It was these guys came out of the bakery in Oakland.
It was part of the, if I remember correctly, it was part of the Symbionese.
Long after that. Because my friend was a sergeant in Oakland, and he was on the case. I'm trying to remember.
And so, who did they find did it?
It was the people that owned the Black Muslim Bakery, and
that they were the Black Panthers.
Yes.
Well, they were ex-Black Panthers.
Let me tell you what I know about Black Panthers. There was this country called Wakanda. And
sorry,
I hated that movie.
Phil didn't even get that, but he's too white to get it.
No, I was looking up.
I think it's because it was dark. They accidentally kept the 3D lens on the projector. And it was so dark I couldn't see.
Me too. Me too. And I finally had to download it from the internet, which I did illegally because I paid to see it, but I couldn't see it.
Was it better light? Was it better when it was light?
Yeah, it was better with lights.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it was light. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again because it sucked.
See,
when I watched
I
it.
watched it in the daylight, and I was like, "Wow, this is."
And by
really
the way, movie industry,
strange.
come get me for having downloaded it. I paid for that fucking picture, and I didn't get to see it. So fuck you.
It was Yusuf Bey, and he killed Chauncey Bailey, who was.
I never heard of Yusuf Bey. Was Yusuf Bey a member of the Black Panthers?
I believe so.
No, you believe so. Was he?
Muslim Bakery.
No, Muslim Bakery, but was he a member of the Black Panthers?
That was where the Black Panthers headquarters were.
According to Renee, no.
I don't think so either. I don't remember anything about the Black Panthers. I remember him killing Chauncey Bailey.
All I know is the Black Panthers that I know of never killed anybody, but they got killed by fucking cops.
Elijah Mohammed.
Oh, gee, quit looking for justification. You're wrong, Phil.
I'm just looking for the...
You're wrong, Phil. You're wrong.
Such a racist.
Huh?
God, Phil, you're such a racist, man.
Yeah. I'll get my noose out.
No, you are a racist.
Well, wait, as long as you're getting that news, Phil, would you hang yourself, please?
These people... These people are Americans.
Yeah, these people
they
are
are
criminals.
Americans.
They're criminals.
They're why? Just because they're black?
No, because of their affiliation with the Black Panthers and your Black Muslim Bakery.
Oh my God! What about all the white criminals? What about all the purple criminals?
Well, yeah, they're. In
What about? Can you sing the song, Alex? What about?
No, but that's an actual what about. That's
there's no actual what about in Alex's world.
There's actual what about. That's good.
Oh God, this is.
Let's pick another subject.
If people want a perfect example of,
they come in all shapes, colors, sizes, religions, and creeds, and sexual orientations. So,
yep.
Let's move on with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone has a Halloween costume. So, everybody remember January when we had that false missile alert?
Yeah,
Yes.
Hawaii had that. Right.
Yeah, somebody went to work as an iPhone with the warning across the iPhone saying this is a false missile alert. She wore it the whole day. That was great.
There is I was gonna make a video out of it and show it here. There was a kid who did her parents did a beautiful costume. She was 2 years old, so she was really small. Okay, so they built a costume where they built up the top of it so she was headless. And then she was holding her own head, which was poking out of the costume. It was beautiful.
That's great.
It was just beautiful. If you go online, you can
really
find
good.
it. That to me was the Halloween costume of the year. And she was so cute, too. She looked adorable. Yeah.
So I saw a daddy, and he was carrying the kid in one of those things across a Bianchi or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And they made it look, so they dressed the kid up like the president, put him in a suit, put him with a red tie, and they made his little carrier into a place where you give speeches from. So it had the presidential seal and all of it. So he was the little president, and his dad was the Secret Service. It was very cute. I probably didn't do it justice, but it was cute.
It sounds like it was adorable. But Phil wouldn't find it adorable.
I do like the Slinky dogs the best.
Huh?
So far. Slinky. So this lady had two twins. Actually, the parents had two twins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in Toy Story, they always had the Slinky dog, and one would go this way, and then they'd boing back together. Mm-hmm. So what they did is they took the twins, put dog faces on both of them, the cartoon dog faces.
Yeah.
And then they got a cable and ran it in between them, and so it looked like they were the Slinky dog. From Toy Story. It was very cute.
Yeah.
I was just very cute.
The kids I feel sorry for are the kids whose parents are so without creativity that they go to the local Dwayne Reed and buy them a costume for like the Flash. you know, and it's just like this paper mache. If it rained, the costume would fall apart, you know. And I feel so sorry for those kids, you know, because although I feel sorry for myself when I was a kid, because my mother was so without talent that way, that every year I was a pirate, because she could give me one of her blouses to wear, a pair of jeans,
earrings,
a pair of her earrings, right?
Yeah,
a scarf for a head bandana, right? And then she would make a cardboard sword and put it in a sash around my waist, and I was a pirate, right? Until it rained and my cardboard sword melted, you know. But that's what I was almost every year, because my mother had. Plus, you couldn't go to Dwayne Reed and buy the Flash costume, you know. So, yes, Charlene.
Oh, sorry, I don't know where to put my hand. I have a story like that. My mother had a costume, and she used to like extend it. It didn't fit me, but she would like lengthen the sleeve and add pieces to it. And I had no mask. I have a picture in black and white of myself as a little kid, and I'm like, Ma, what was I supposed to be? She was very uncreative like that too. And we didn't have the costumes that they have today like that, you know.
Yeah.
These kids are lucky.
Yeah.
They have everything to choose from, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I used to love making it.
Yeah, I used to have to use. I would use my mother's skirt to make like a cape to be like a witch.
Mhm.
You couldn't buy a witch costume, you know. You had to be creative, find things in the house, right? Yeah.
Right. Right.
My grandmother was a seamstress. She used to make dresses. She made me. I told Jackie this.
A dress?
She made me Spider-Man. Like she was always knitting and sewing. She was very creative. And
You
she
need to
actually
find
made.
that.
I gotta find that picture. My mother has it. Actually, literally, my Spider-Man mask went over the thing. She sewed the whole thing really good. She was very. My mother was okay, but my grandmother was like really. I'm not trying to brag, but she was talented.
Wow.
Look, she always used to sew everything.
How about you, Patrick? What was the most disgusting costume you ever had to wear?
I saw he had a good Yoda one. Tell him, Patrick.
Most disgusting.
Yeah.
I always had the like the mask that I just put up. That was actually from 1979. It's Star Wars mask.
Mhm.
Put it up again.
Well, it's a Boba Fett mask,
It
right?
was cool.
Yeah, it's good.
It's the original Boba Fett mask that they had to redo the next year when the movie came out because it's inaccurate in the colors and all of that. But I was Yoda. It was a mask like that of Yoda, and then it was a vinyl one-piece suit you wore, and it said who you were so that all the old people knew what the hell you were.
So you didn't have to tell them all the time?
And vampire, army guy, pirate. I mean, my mom wasn't that creative. You know,
Yeah.
I was the one who came up with the ideas.
Yeah.
And like for Dracula, I remember I had to make my own medallion around my neck. So it was similar to, what was it? Was that the Bela Lugosi one?
Yeah.
Where he had a medallion?
Well,
yeah.
actually, it was, in fact, the Star of David.
That was a self-driving car.
Was it really?
Yeah.
What was a self-driving car?
Okay, so
The car
two
that I
was it
just
really?
showed.
Is that a Google?
Ray, we can only see your photo of your head on fire.
What, a car just went by that was a self-driving car?
One of those Ubers that drives itself, right?
No, usually they have somebody in it,
Waymo.
but the car is driving.
Oh, you can't see that. Yeah, it's Waymo. Yeah, there's always somebody sitting in there. They get paid $20 an hour.
Yeah, they have to. There has to
They
be somebody
get
in
paid $20 an hour to flirt with death. Is that what this is all about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I saw the worst Halloween costume today. I have these trouble with some hemorrhoids, and so I had to go to my proctologist, and he dressed as a poop emoji, and I just thought it was really bad taste. He thought it was funny.
Wait, oh come on! You have to give him props for making effort,
I've
right?
got a gastroenterologist.
Give him props
that
or
is that
poops.
funny to me, right? I don't like my gastroenterologist. He's not that great either, like with humor.
Oh, I love my gastroenterologist. He's the best guy I've got of all the doctors that I have. He's the best one.
How about your proctologist? How's he?
Well, this guy looks at my ass too. You know,
Yeah. Oh, cool.
he's a gastroenterologist. He gets you both ends. You know, he's the one that does the colonoscopy, and he does the one that does the other oscopy that goes down the throat. You know,
What a job, huh?
yeah. I wanted to get a guy. I wanted to get three doctors.
That they can't see in the middle.
Oh, I wanted to get three doctors. The a guy to do a cystoscopy, which goes in your penis, and a guy to do a colonoscopy, which goes up your ass, and then the one that goes down your throat, which is a endoscopy. Why isn't the endoscopy the one that goes up your ass? I don't understand that.
So what are you trying to do?
And then I want them to all do it at the same time and see if they can see each other.
Well, if they do, you got a problem. I got my colon screening kit yesterday.
The DNA thing, right?
No.
No. It's got to wash.
You take a little poop and you send it back to them.
Yeah, it's the only time you can send your shit through the mail and people don't mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't work if you're like this intolerant.
I don't want to be the one that opens it.
Yeah. Anyway, I just, Halloween was terrifying to me. I never liked, as I got older, getting into costumes.
Right.
You know, and
don't worry, Alex. I hate all holidays democratically.
Oh, okay. Well, it's very good for you because I like Thanksgiving. I really like Thanksgiving. It's a non-religious holiday, and it's a holiday in which everybody just gets together, eats, talks.
But it's rooted in celebrating the massacre of a Native American people. So.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it was supposed to be that it was celebrating the alliance between the Native Americans and the settlers, and celebrating that they helped the settlers.
And we all know
learn how to.
No. But all I'm saying is you're wrong because the Thanksgiving, really the first Thanksgiving was the settlers and the Indians together in harmony.
Yeah, we see how the settlers repaid the Indians.
Well, that's in retrospect.
They pushed them right out.
And they aren't Indians; they're Native Americans.
Well, they're American Indians then, but they're not Native.
They were here first. Let's put it
that way.
You're living on their land, Alex. You're squatting in New York.
Hey,
you bought it for $24.
We bought it for 24 fucking bucks.
Those guys
hey,
off.
you made the deal. You take the money. Come on.
Hey, you ripped them off, and now you're squatting on their land.
Yeah.
Oh, you were saying something about me earlier. What was it?
No, what I was saying was you just take the fun out of everything.
That's all it is.
You just squeeze every little bit you can out of anything. Like
it's called the truth hurts, doesn't it?
I like the truth doesn't hurt because Thanksgiving you're all wrong about.
Well, quoting Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. Most people can't.
No.
No one's native. Everyone's from Africa.
And by the way, the slaughter of the Native Americans in this country didn't happen till way later. Actually, the Native Americans kind of slaughtered the Americans when they first got here because.
They're not any more special than the people that.
And they fought alongside of us in the French and Indian War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, did you know they were actually all Negroes?
No.
We are. We're all from Africa. We're all Negroes.
Is that a term?
We all look very black.
We're all Negroes at the core.
It's funny. It's very funny. But when I was growing up, I had a lot of black friends because I hung out with the kids from Marin City in Marin County, and they were all black. Those were projects, but I liked them because they had talent. They could sing and they could they could create works of art, and they were terrific. Okay, so that's why I liked hanging out with them. And the fact of the matter was that I had a fond appreciation for black people. But this was the point I was going to make. But if I had called any one of them black, they would have fucking crucified me.
That's because they were colored.
No, they would have fucking crucified me. In those days, you called them Negroes, and that was okay. But if you called them black, they go, "Hey, man, I'm not. What are you calling me, man?" You know.
But I think that just speaks to how our language changed.
And African American, if I called them that, they would have beat the crap out of me.
Now, what happened when
Am I
the
right,
play Hair
Patrick?
came out?
Patrick is going yes.
Afro-American.
You agree?
Do you remember the play Hair?
Well, I'm talking to Patrick, Phil.
The thing
I'm
about
talking.
elevator operators?
I'm talking to Patrick,
So
Phil.
somebody's got their hand up, and it's Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
Fuck you too.
No thanks, you're not my type.
Oh, snap.
Oh, this is getting real ugly tonight. Why can't we all just get along? Anyway, yes, Patrick.
Are you going to make an offer to Patrick? Sorry.
I've got a friend of mine, and he's here in Milwaukee. He's originally from Louisiana, and he's black, and he calls himself black, and he says he never wants to be referred to as African American because he said he's never been to the motherland. He said none of his nearest ancestors, meaning his parents or grandparents, were from there. He said, so why the fuck would anybody put me with Africa? And, you know, I thought, well, you make a valid point.
Yeah, it does.
But, I mean, that's like me. I'm Slovenian and Bohemian, and I've never been anywhere near there. And that's been 2 generations ago. And I don't tell people that because I'm American, and that's what
You know what we should all do? We should all have to wear necklaces with the name we want to be called. Okay? So
I
that
was born in Brooklyn, so that means I'm black.
No, Phil. No. Not even close. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Renee has her hand up.
Brian was first.
No, Brian was first.
I'll just say real quick, kind of take issue with the fact that just because I squeeze the fun out of shit doesn't mean it can't be funny. Look at the 50% of the comedic talents of George Carlin and 100% of the comedic talents of Doug Stanhope. There is bitter and cynical, especially Doug Stanhope. He's as bitter and cynical as fuck, but he makes me laugh. He makes me shit my pants with laughter.
Never paid attention to him.
You should.
No.
We were talking about your friend Ruben.
Yeah.
So I pulled out one of his pictures that I took.
Doesn't look like he used to look.
So, did you see one of the Dodgers baseball games, the World Series, that Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon were sitting together?
Oh, that's
and
very
one
funny.
had the shirt on that says "I'm was stupid," and the other one said "I'm was stupid," and they were pointing at each other.
Yeah.
That was good.
I wanted to know what their wives wanted to say.
He had the same shirt.
If you saw your significant other on television with that shirt on, wouldn't you want to say something to that person out loud?
Well, I thought it was very funny. You know,
Ignorance breeds? I don't know. Maybe.
Because they've always been kidding each other. You know. So.
I'm lost.
Huh? What do you mean?
I got
Palo
lost.
Alto?
Yeah.
What do you mean you got lost?
I'm lost in my own neighborhood. I am. I'll find it.
Well,
How
if
do you
can get food tonight, just go and trick or treat.
Yeah.
And,
at least I won't starve.
You will starve, right?
We'll send the Palo
Wait a
Alto
minute. Now, are you leading some kids around at all, or are you just doing it? You're taking the walk yourself.
No, he's got.
I'm just taking a walk, but I went too late because around here people don't trick or treat late on a school night.
Yeah, well, they're all finished down in the courtyard here.
Curfew, right?
They were through at about 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, they got to keep you hoodlums off the street.
Yeah.
But you know something? I got to tell you, it's really nice. And some people get bothered by this. They go, "Why do they let those kids run around in the courtyard?" And I love it. I love hearing the sound of kids having a good time and being happy.
What was in the news the other day that if people over 12 trick or treated, that they'd get arrested in this one town?
What?
Huh? Yeah. I think you couldn't be over 12 or 13 and they'd arrest you.
Charlene has
you have to bring an ID?
Charlene has her hand up.
Basically.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if you got facial hair, you're going to jail.
I got to fix this issue that I can't. But this is switching. But did anyone hear about the other car people? I know Rob is a car guy. Matt Damon was set on fire. When Renee said Matt Damon, it reminded me. He's making a movie about Shelby. He plays Shelby, like the Cobra.
Yeah.
Cobra
Carol
inventor
Shelby.
or
Carol
designer.
Shelby.
Yeah, and I forget who else but I'm so excited because don't ask me what I know about a Shelby Cobra Mustang. I don't know. Guys I knew or something taught me about Shelby Cobra and all that. And there's another guy.
I'm sure they did.
I would have to Google. I don't know what the name of it is, the movie. But Matt Damon caught on fire by accident, but he wasn't, badly hurt because he had
Was he wearing Nomex?
asbestos on
Nomex.
but by accident, they had like fire, for something. It was on the racetrack.
There you go with your Mexican thing again. Jeez.
Nomex?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, God. It never ends.
Hey, they're coming to the border. They're going to come get you, Phil. They're going to come streaming across that border. What?
15,000 military now.
15,000 military.
Let's have this conversation.
By the time
we invade Mexico,
here's the best part. By the time they get here, they're only going to be 500 people.
Good. Put on your BDUs.
That's going to be great to see that 15,000 troops.
If we've got 15,000 troops on the border and we invade Mexico, we can get all the bookends, the sombreros, the tequila. We'll rape and pillage that country.
You know what Trump's going to send them to south of the border? No.
I don't believe what Phil says because he thinks it's funny.
Mike jobs.
What?
All the Magic Mike jobs.
What's that?
You know the movie Magic Mike? It was like Chippendales.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was making a joke, and he said that all those Mexicans are all buff, and you can bounce a peso off their ass, and they're going to take over all the Magic Mike jobs.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, Renee.
So is anybody talking about the two girls that were found in the river over there?
We mentioned it earlier.
Alex mentioned it.
What the hell is that?
What is that?
They think it's a suicide.
Saudi. They're Saudi.
Was that a family thing?
Wait, we don't suicide with our hands tied
Their
together.
feet,
kind of not how it works.
Their feet were gaffered taped together, and they feel that the two of them jumped into the water and drowned.
Yeah, no.
No. The police have looked at this. If they think it's a murder, they're the first ones to say it's a murder. They said there is no sign of violence in this at all.
That's another use for gaffer tape.
Yeah.
That's just strange.
Yeah.
Not one that I ever thought of.
Yeah, but it's really strange. And they were.
You have to wait for details to follow.
And they were two beautiful girls too, women.
Yeah.
That's
what makes it stranger.
Yes, but there was no violence. They could not find anything violent that had been done to the bodies, or that they think the two of them.
They couldn't find anything violent on Khashoggi.
But hold on a second,
because
Phil. Let us finish this.
That's not a good joke.
Not a good joke.
I laughed.
Yeah.
Maybe they were doing a three-legged race and got off track.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Jeez. Almighty. Yeah, it was a yeah. The joke doctor's in. It was a three-legged race gone wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't they have
for the edit.
Those Saudis have those family killings where they, if the woman does something that embarrasses the family, that
they're called honor killings.
What do they call it?
Honor killings.
Honor killings. Yeah. You think this could have been one of those? They tape them up, throw them off the bridge.
There was no evidence of violence, Phil.
Not even when they hit the water.
Phil. This was determined by the New York Police Department, and compared to the police departments you've been with, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, you can really trust those guys. Bernie Carrick.
No. Hold on. If anybody knows dead bodies in a river, it's the New York PD.
Right.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
They wash up in Staten Island on the beach.
Yeah.
Yes, Patrick.
If anybody knows floaters
from the Hudson River. Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah. So I think when Alex is saying no violence, that means there's no bruising or anything of any of that, where it could have been an honor killing where somebody took them and threw them. There's probably no bruising anywhere that showed that somebody grabbed them or
Why would they be taped up? Somebody had to tape them up.
They could have taped their own legs together.
Yeah, we don't. We're women. No.
Maybe they thought they were going to meet 72 virgins.
No, that goes the other way around. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit, sorry.
They were the virgins.
Okay, not funny, but still.
You're laughing. Good.
Yeah,
You're laughing. Exactly.
I did.
These are two dead women, and we're sitting here making jokes. It's a little early, isn't it?
Too soon. Too soon.
Oh, the jokes are
The bodies are still drying out, for crying out loud. What?
It's Halloween. It's appropriate to be morbid.
Halloween irreverent.
I suppose. Oh, gee, I'm looking at my activities
And if you're
here.
laughing or smiling, you have no room to talk.
Hey, Alex, any kids knock on your door tonight?
No, not a single kid knocked on our door.
Did you have candy?
Yes.
All right.
Lots of it.
Really?
Tons of it. You know what I also
How
did?
are they going to get to your apartment?
Every night.
They'd have to like.
Every night, girlfriend and I.
Kids in the building.
Every night, girlfriend and I have a sugar-free pudding cup, okay, and 2 sugar-free chocolates. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, because of Halloween, they aren't carrying the sugar-free chocolates in our neighborhood, and I couldn't find anywhere, so I sent away $80 worth of sugar-free Hershey's chocolate to Amazon.
Good for you.
To Amazon.
Damn.
The milk chocolate, caramel chocolate, and also Reese's peanut butter cups, sugar-free.
Wow.
What other crap is in that will kill you besides the sugar?
Sugar alcohols.
Oh.
But they won't kill you, but you wish you were dead, because if you eat too many of them, you'll shit like a bandit.
You can buy those Atkins bars and Atkins candies, and they're also that kind of sugar alcohol rather than sugar. But you can't eat too many of them.
Yeah, that's what I said. You didn't listen to me. I said because you'll shit like a bandit.
Well, you get fat.
They have a laxative effect. Yes, Patrick.
You guys must channel me or I channel you. I do basically the same thing. I have 2 peanut butter cups, the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And that's what I have for kind of a treat after I'm, like after the show tonight.
Yeah.
Have before bed, just that.
Yeah.
Just enough to, because I like chocolate, and just enough to quench that, and that's it.
By the way, we just lost Vernon. Yeah, I really wish he had been able to get in more tonight, but he was not getting a good signal. Anyway, no, the thing is that hold on a second. There was something you were saying, and I can't remember what it was now. Anyway.
Well, so now that I've moved to Hawaii, I like putting the chocolate in the freezer. So it's really nice when it's hot to have a frozen Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yep.
Well, no, I put them in the refrigerator, and although we're running now out of the puddings, and all there's going to be left is chocolate, and I like the ones with the swirl in it.
What brand?
But
do you buy?
that
Yeah, I want to know that.
Jello. Jello.
Yeah.
I get the Costco or something like that. Koski or.
Yeah, but is it sugar free?
Yeah, sugar free.
Really? I never heard of what you're talking about.
It's a California brand, I think. Koski.
Something like that. Yeah.
Alex, you said Jello, right?
Jello. Yeah, it's just
Because
Jello.
I'm watching my sugar. Thanks for that tip about the Hershey's.
I was on a low carb diet, and it was perfect.
Yeah,
I've been eating all the Halloween candy, and I'm watching my sugar. This is terrible.
So just Alex, the thing Alex said is a very big deal. You consume too much of this stuff, and you will be miserable on the toilet.
Oh, so like diarrhea for days?
Yeah, you don't want to do too much of it. That's why we do 2 a night, maybe a third, a couple of peanut butter cups, and that's it.
No.
If I bring those home, I can't stop eating them. I eat them till they're all gone. And they also have tapioca. The tapioca's good, too.
Yeah. Well, yes, Patrick.
Everybody had a toilet like Renee. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. Right.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving those out for Christmas. Everybody get a washette.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it.
I remember hearing about that amazing toilet. What
you get a toilet. You get a toilet.
I would love it.
Renee, I wouldn't mind.
What does it do again, Renee, the toilet?
Well, let's see. You can air dry yourself. You wash yourself with water. And you get to choose.
By the way, all you guys, if you've got
cold.
anything to do, go do it right now because it doesn't have anything to do with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Hey, I hate to interrupt, but there's a kid. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, there's a kid here, just up ahead, dressed as a bandit, and maybe I could interview him and see how his shitting has been going tonight.
Maybe he's really a mugger.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was bad. All right. Bye.
Yeah.
You just offed yourself, Ray.
But I don't like the idea of giving out candy to kids. I'd like to give out sugar-free candy, but they see the word sugar-free and they don't think it's going to taste any good, and it tastes just like the real thing.
But if we could come up with a good
better.
Well, here in New York, they came out with this thing where they did away, put a big tax on sugary drinks. Well,
that was your
did it help?
previous mayor.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't like him making a law about it. I think it was a good idea to advise people to do that.
Right.
But on the other hand, they didn't do anything about sugar-free candy.
Right.
I mean, he should have. Quite frankly, I think that's more of a problem than the sodas.
All he cares about is soda. So, Alex, I left New York and I don't remember. Like they actually tax, like in McDonald's, it's higher.
I think there's a higher tax now. I don't know. I don't buy sugared drinks, so I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the reasons they focus on the drinks more than they focus on other stuff is because the drinks happen to be a caffeine delivery system.
No, I see.
Along with a sugar delivery
system.
system.
Not all the time. Not all the time. It depends on what sugar-free drink, what sugary drink you're drinking. You could be drinking a ginger ale, or you could be drinking root beer, or whatever, and there's no caffeine.
Not all root beers are caffeine-free.
No, but I mean, all I'm saying is that that you're not. I don't think that's the reason why. I think the reason why.
35 grams of caffeine in
there was no.
soda.
They didn't ban. They didn't charge it. Put an extra tax on coffee in New York.
That would
if
be
they
some
did, there'd be a revolution.
Oh yeah, you bet your life there'd be a revolution.
That'd be one really fat budget.
Yeah.
7 Up, no caffeine, never had it.
No.
How about just a flat tax on everything you buy?
Yeah.
Well, no, that goes to Steve. What's his name? Steve Forbes.
Yeah.
He had the right idea.
You know what? So, how many years ago was that?
1996.
What would our lives look like if we had done flat taxes in '96?
Probably better.
Yeah.
Well, I would certainly be easier to do your taxes, and you wouldn't have to hire somebody to do it.
Yep.
It's just here's the tax, send it to us. I mean,
The money every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there was some argument.
So where's the negative? Now you seem skeptical.
Well,
the negative?
No,
it's coming from Steve Forbes. That's the negative for you guys.
No, see.
So, no, you're wrong about me, Phil. You know damn well I criticize both sides and I praise both sides where credit is due, or at least where I perceive where credit is due. So you don't malign me.
No, but there are some arguments.
personally.
There are some arguments against the flat tax, but that it should just start at a certain point, so that anybody, say under $15,000 a year, gets to keep all their money.
Refine it.
Yeah.
Do whatever you have to do, but it needs to be implemented.
Anybody who makes less than $15,000 a year doesn't have any money. So what are they keeping?
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, that's it for tonight. Boy, the 2 hours of contention that's been going on tonight has been amazing.
Their dignity.
Huh?
Said what Phil was saying. If anybody who makes less than 15 grand doesn't have any money, so what are they keeping? And I was saying their shirts and their dignity for one.
Anyway, listen, we got to go here. Thank you, Phil, so very much.
Yes, tomorrow is Phil free.
Oh, good. Oh, everybody, the coast is clear. Call tomorrow night. You call tomorrow night, Renee. Call tomorrow night, Renee. Call tomorrow night, Patrick. Call tomorrow night, Ray. Call tomorrow night, Charlene. Call tomorrow night, absolutely, Brian. And Anthony, you've got a call as well. Anyway, thanks for being with us. Would everybody give a big wave goodbye to the folks out there in television land? Yeah, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. I'm going to be relinquishing my job here as host of the program. There will be a new guy coming on here to host the program, and that will be, of course, Jack Bishop with The Intersection. He's next over most of this same Gabnet. I'll see you, let's see here, at 1 o'clock this morning. It's Intersection. Connections. And then tomorrow night at 9:30, it's Damian Chaplin and The Exchange. I'll be back again 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.